Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a filing that's less about shining numbers and more about, well, correcting past mistakes. Stick around because this one's a real lesson in how even the biggest companies can get their accounting dookie and what happens when they admit it. And hey, if you're already feeling the need for some honest financial talk, be sure to subscribe and join our Discord community, link down below. Alright, so what we have here is a company called Relativity Acquisition Corp filing what's called a Form 8K. This is basically an announcement of big news, the kind that could really shake things up for investors. And the big news here is something called a restatement. Think of it like a company saying, oops, we messed up our past financial reports, and rereading them means you shouldn't trust them the way they were. So the core reason for this filing is pretty specific. Relativity Acquisition Corp is telling everyone that they made errors in how they presented their cash flows in their financial reports for the year ending December 31, 2024, and also for the quarter ending March 31, 2025. Basically, when they released their annual report and their quarterly report for that period. The way they showed money coming in and going out wasn't quite right according to the accounting rules. Specifically, something called Accession 2030 in mind, they showed money coming in and going out wasn't quite right according to the accounting rules. Specifically, something called ASC 2A30 became 45. What was messed up? Well, they incorrectly showed money taken out of their trust account as an investing cash outflow. Imagine putting your savings in a special investment account. When you take money out of that account for investing, it's usually seen as money going out for investment purposes. But here's the kicker, they actually should have shown that money coming into the company as an investing activity. This might sound like jargon, but it's crucial. It's about properly classifying where the money came from and where it was going in their financial story. On the flip side, they also got it wrong when they used money to buy back their own stock, called redeeming stock. They showed this as a financing cash outflow, which is generally correct because it's money going out related to how the company is financed and its ownership structure. But the way they described it and presented it was off. The correct way they now say is that using cash to redeem shares is a financing outflow because it's like returning money to the owners and shrinking the company's equity. This detail is important because it affects how investors understand the company's financial health and how it manages its capital. So to break it down super simply, money coming out of their investment trust account to be used for company operations or investments should have been shown as money coming in for investment activities. And money paid out to shareholders to buy back company stock should have been shown as money going out for financing activities. They got these two key cash flow movements mixed up in their official reports. This means that the financial statements in their big annual report, the Form 10K for 2024, and their quarterly report, the Form 10Q for the first 3 months of 2025, are no longer reliable. They're essentially saying, throw those numbers out, they're wrong. And this wasn't a small boo-boo. The company itself admits that these errors were material. Material means they are significant enough to potentially influence an investor's decision. If a company's cash flow reporting is wrong in a material way, it can make the whole financial picture look different than it actually is. This is why they're now restating their financials, meaning they're going to reissue those reports with the corrected numbers. Crucially, they've talked about this with their independent auditor, which is the external accounting firm that checks their books to make sure everything is on the up and up. This is a standard step when a company finds material errors. Because of this mistake, the top bosses, the CEO and CFO, had to look very closely at how the company controls its financial reporting. They found that their internal controls, the systems and processes they have in place to make sure their financial information is accurate, weren't good enough. They identified a material weakness, which is a fancy way of saying there's a big problem in their system that could let errors like this happen. This material weakness specifically relates to how they present their cash flow statements. It means their system for tracking and reporting cash movements has a significant flaw. To fix this, the company says they're putting a lot of effort and resources into improving these internal controls, which is good, but it also highlights how critical these systems are. The report is signed off by Tarek Tabshaish, the Chief Executive Officer, and the date it's being reported is August 6, 2025, which is just one day after they apparently made the decision to adjust their financial figures on August 5, 2025. This suggests a pretty rapid response once the errors were identified. Now, I know we didn't get to dive into any fancy tables with percentages and profit margins because this filing isn't about good or bad performance. It's purely a disclosure about accounting errors, but this situation itself is a story. Relativity Acquisition Corp, like many special purpose acquisition companies or SPACs, had a specific purpose: to find and merge with another company. Reporting their cash flows accurately is fundamental to showing how they're managing the money they raise from investors before or during that merger process. What this filing tells us is that even at the foundational level of accounting, mistakes can happen. And when they do, companies have to be upfront about it, restate their financials, and also admit if their internal systems failed them. Investors in companies like this, especially SPACs, rely heavily on the accuracy of financial reporting to understand how their money is being handled and what the true financial standing of the target company is. An error like this, even if it's in how cash flows are categorized rather than a true loss of money, erodes trust. It makes you wonder if there are other, less obvious issues lurking beneath the surface. The fact that the company identified a material weakness in their internal controls over financial reporting, specifically related to cash flow presentation, is a significant concern. It suggests a potential breakdown in the processes designed to ensure financial accuracy. While they are committed to fixing this, the journey for Relativity Accession Corp now involves rebuilding that trust with investors through transparent and, most importantly, accurate financial reporting going forward. While there are no specific numbers to analyze here in terms of revenue or profit, the real takeaway is about the integrity of financial reporting. For Relativity, this might mean a period of increased scrutiny from regulators and investors alike. Alright, that's our deep dive into why Relativity Accession Corp is hitting the brakes on its past financial statements. What's your take on these accounting corrections and what it means for the company's future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button and consider subscribing for more clear insights into the financial world. And don't forget to join our Discord community for more great discussions, link in the description. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on Corporate Decoder.